Season 2 FC Wonderkid podcast, episode 5, here with my guy, OvertimeMitch. How are you feeling?
Feeling good, man. Appreciate the invite. Happy to be here.
Oh my days. We just gonna give context to people. We filmed 5 minutes and this wasn't filming. My
It was a great
days,
5
people.
minutes, too.
It's great preparation. It's great preparation. But people, make sure you follow us now on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. We heard you guys out. You were telling us we need to listen to you guys in Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube Music. I don't know, wherever you're listening. We are on now. Thank you for your support, people. And yes, the big topic has to be the starters. El Clásico. How are you feeling with El Clásico, Mitch? Because this was historic.
Going into this El Clásico, we all knew that Barcelona was in form and Real Madrid was in question. We did not know it was going to be 4-0. That was a Hansi Flick masterclass. They said it's not tiki-taka, it's fleeky-flaka. And that's not my joke. That's Twitter's joke. That's not my joke.
Mate.
Good, right?
That's really good. That's a really good one, mate. And yeah,
credit for that.
With Hansi Flick, mate, it's the masterclass. And it's his full effect in action. And something that can't be unnoticed. It's Barca's success, Spain's success, I'll even might say too, is La Masia's success. Lamine Yamal gets the focus, but the truth is, against Bayern Munich, 9 players from La Masia played. 3 started and 3 came off the bench. And the only transfer that was made by Hansi Flick this season was Dani Olmo and Gundogan left. Nobody more has come in. And look at how good they are. Look at how good they are. I feel sorry for Xavi because Xavi did believe in Lamine, did believe in Pau Cubarsí, did believe in Balde. He trusts La Masia just like Flick. But now the results. The more success Flick has, the more we see it was the right decision. And Laporta must be smiling inside thinking, Florentino, I won this one. And Florentino must be, going so mad inside him because he did the right thing. Florentino Perez did the right thing in the summer. He got the best player in the world, Mbappe. Or was it the wrong thing, though, Mitch?
Tough to say now. Even in hindsight, I don't know. I think it is a little too early to say that's a definitive good or bad choice. I don't think anybody would ever describe signing Kylian Mbappe as a bad choice. But for the price paid and for the hype around the transfer, it's like it may not live up to that expectation just yet.
What I feel, honestly, it's Real Madrid have still not played a style of play of the level of a Real Madrid winning La Liga and Champions League like we saw last season. We saw Vinicius against Dortmund. Remontada. Click. Built different. But we haven't seen Vinicius consistently with Mbappe playing at a high level with 4 midfielders. It still hasn't happened. It's not clicking still. So when I see the idea, the style of play of Barca, how they understand that they have to be next to each other, how Conde is marking Ferland Mendy, and Pau Cubarsí is marking one-on-one Vini Jr. People, I understand. Lamine Yamal, best right winger in the world currently. Lamine Yamal, best under-21 talent in the world. Pau Cubarsí, one of the best center backs in football currently. 17 man marking Vini Jr. with the amount of space that we all know in terms of speed. Vini beats him, but anticipation. Who won that game was Pau Cubarsí. He won that game, and he won my heart, mate. For me, Pau Cubarsí is already, I'd say, in the top 15 to 20 center backs in the world of football. For sure.
And it goes back. So just to touch on what you were saying about Xavi, I think Xavi had the correct idea and the correct 11s that he would put out every week, but it just something was missing, and I don't know if he simply came to the club too early or if Hansi Flick is kind of reaping the benefits of what Xavi has built here. But Barcelona are a team remade, and they look currently like the best football club in the world right now.
I think they're Barca. After this week, one of the best weeks in the last 5 years for Barca fans, beating 5-1 Sevilla, beating 4-1 Bayern Munich, and now beating Real Madrid, ending their unbeaten run, okay? And if they had won this match, it would have been the first time ever in La Liga history that a team had gone 44 games unbeaten. Barca made sure and said, no, it's still us. We hold that record. It's us. So, yeah, for me, they're favorites right now to win the Champions League. And going with what you said, another thing too, Xavi and Flick both trust La Masia. But Xavi didn't trust Lewandowski. Xavi didn't trust Rafinha to the point that Flick does. And Rafinha, like, I really want to say this. Rafinha is a motivational story. Rafinha, honestly, his ride to be one of the best players in the world of football needs to be stated more. He was at Vitória de Guimarães. He went to Sporting, then goes to Rennes, then goes to Leeds, then goes to Barca. Has a tough first season. Everyone in the summer starts to say, Nico. Rafinha says, no, Nico, no. I am enough, and I am one of the best in the world. Lewandowski, Rafinha, and Lamine is the best trio currently in football, and Rafinha holds 10 goals and 8 assists, mate. Like, I was not... Were you anticipating Rafinha being this good?
No, because my first introduction to Rafinha was when he was at Leeds. And to look back now and think, this player was at Leeds United? Are you serious? Imagine.
I think that with Vitória de Guimarães.
And La Liga, right? And La Liga is different than the Prem as well. He has a little more space to operate and be free and fluid in La Liga. But man, he just looks like a player inspired right now, and he looks like a player full of confidence. And that's what all the best players have. That's what all the best attackers have. His importance to this Barcelona team cannot be stated enough. He is one of the best players in the world. He's one of the most informed players in the world right now. Completely. And now Brazil fans, like, if you spoke to Brazilian fans, not even like 2 months ago, I'd say 2 weeks ago, they'd be saying, stressing out, understandably. Brazil, we're not playing good football. Vini is in the mud. I can't understand Rafinha. I can't understand this. But in the last 3-4 days, I checked on them, and they're like, we could do something interesting in 2026. It's automatically with the Champions League hat trick of crazy what a couple goals can do for you.
Exactly. And I'm still gonna say Brazil will only achieve the success they got in the past is with top fullbacks. They currently do not have them. Okay, so Vanderson of Monaco, let's see what happens with him. So I stressed about Kubarsi. Wanted to mention too a fun fact that it's mad, and it shows the historical manner that this is. Like, Barca beating Real Madrid 4-0 in the Bernabeu. Yes, that's amazing. But the fact that La Masia is in full action with this, against Bayern Munich, Barca played with 9 La Masia players. 6 started, 3 came off the bench. Dani Olmo being one of them that came off the bench. And that the last time that Bayern had lost to Barca, it was in May of 2015. There was a Pau Kubarsi with 8 years old. Lamine Yamal, 7 years old. Gavi, 10 years old. Gavi was 10 years old. So when they're doing these types of things, yes, Lamine is the statue. Lamine is the Ballon d'Or future candidate. But Pau Kubarsi, Marc Bernal, Héctor Fort, Alejandro Balde, Marc Casado, they all see Lamine and they're like, this is my guy. And I'm going to be in the best team in the world with my guy because he's inspiring me. That's beautiful. That is absolutely beautiful. So yeah, the big topic, I hinted it with it. Let us know your thoughts of El Clásico down below, okay? Ancelotti, what's going to happen with him? A lot of people starting to throw him under the bus. I'm not that guy still, okay? I just wanted to state that. But with Ballon d'Or, 2024, we know who's going to win right now, right? We agree. Vinicius Jr., right, Mitch?
Yes.
And it's like, he's going to win it after this weekend. It's karma. It's karma completely, because there's a lot of people that do say Vinicius Jr. is a Ballon d'Or winner that in previous years he would for sure not win it. Do you agree with this statement?
I do. It's a strange year for the Ballon d'Or, right? Because, in the past, call it 2 decades, we've had 2 aliens competing for the Ballon d'Or along with some other, incredible humans as well. But this year, it feels like nobody's really taken the award and went and claimed it for themselves. There's been a bunch of good performers. There's been nobody over the course of the calendar year that has really stood out as the best footballer in the world. So you're forced to kind of dissect these individual competitions and individual stats, kind of decide for yourself which one means more.
Like Carvajal being in the top 3.
Sure. And impact on the game as well, with Rodri up there. if he had not been injured, there would have been a lot of conversation leading up that he would be the Ballon d'Or winner. Yeah. But he would be one of the first players in recent memory that doesn't have the outrageous stats to back it up. He has the impact on the game. He has the eye test. He is so pivotal in how City want to play football, but he may not have all of the sexy numbers to back it up. So
the goals, assists, yes.
Right.
But then beats and run 100%. Like
yes,
when he plays,
he's pivotal.
City doesn't lose.
Right.
Exactly.
And that's an impressive stat in itself. Now, with Rodri out and Vinny being the overwhelming favorite to take the Ballon d'Or, it feels appropriate, but maybe not decisive, is the way I'll describe it.
Got you. So we completely agree. We're on the same page. It's Rodri and Vinicius Jr., the top two favorites. Yes. I do understand the statement that Carvajal being instrumental in the Champions League final and also being instrumental for Spain in the Euros. But yes, I think it's not convincible. It's not like we say like Vinicius Jr. With his ability, Vinicius Jr. is the best player in the world of football currently, right now. You're sure? I'm not sure. Like, I do believe he had the best last season. I think it's hands down. Vinicius Jr. was the best player in the last Champions League. But Vinicius Jr. was poor in Copa America. He shouldn't have been sent off in the game that he left for Brazil. And I see other aspects that, yes, I'm not going to be saying Messi should win the Ballon d'Or, okay? But Messi is still one of the best players in the world of football in terms of ability, for sure. In terms of
technical ability, absolutely.
For sure. But it feels a grain of salt with it. So Vini Jr. scored his first hat-trick in Champions League against Dortmund last week. And now he loses to Barca 4-0, and then he gets awarded the Ballon d'Or. I just feel like the situations, like the timeline
of it is good. Really, it's not a good
looking good. And Mbappe there too. Like, and another thing too, Mbappe must be scared of what Lamine is doing, because it's not just for France now. It's for at club level too. He saw it in the summer, France, Spain. Lamine stepped up in front of Rabiot. Now, in the Bernabeu, Lamine stepped up again against Real Madrid. That was a better team before Mbappe arrived last season. So this is the growing feeling, because for me, ability-wise, in form, Mbappe is the best player in the world. When he has the team around him, when everything's clicking, when he's, let's go, rock and roll, another game, I think Mbappe is that guy. But we haven't seen it. So if I were to ask you, Mitch, like, well, this season we say Rodri, we say Rodri, Vini, Carvajal, the top three, right, for the Ballon d'Or. That would be your top three. Vini, Rodri, Carvajal. But what would be for next season in 2025? How would you be feeling with this? Like, who is a must player in the top three of the Ballon d'Or next year?
Oof, heavy. So I'll keep Vinny up there as well, because with the prestige of being on Real Madrid, like we said, he is one of the most talented players in the world, and I think on his day, there is no defender in the world that can stop him. But the same can be said for Kylian Mbappe, and this may be a bit romantic of me to believe that he's going to succeed, but a player of his caliber cannot stay down for as long as he has. You know what I mean? He maybe has not impressed in his first few months at Real Madrid, but I believe that he will find form, that he will find that whether Madrid brings in players that suit him a little better, that if they change up a style and a tactics that suit him better, I think it would be irresponsible of the club as a whole to just kind of accept current Kylian Mbappe and not improve upon him, and for him to not improve upon himself. I think the biggest thing that I saw from him in El Clásico was an unwillingness to adjust to that offside trap. He's trying to play on the edge every single time, and with his pace, nobody's beating him stride for stride, but an unwillingness to adjust and say, okay, let's play a little with my back to goal and then spin off a defender. Let's have a little bit of interplay and then cut through behind. I think it was stubborn of him. And if he's able to figure that out, I think he's up there for a Ballon d'Or. Kylian Mbappe will win a Ballon d'Or. This
100%? I don't know, mate.
This is a truth that I've accepted. And others.
Neymar should have won a Ballon d'Or too.
Oh, that's gonna hurt my heart. Yeah,
mate. But it's one of those things. Like football, just like life, is made of decisions. He made a wrong decision staying at PSG. He made a wrong decision. If he was with next to Benzema, if he was next to Vinicius Jr. last season, lifting that Champions League, he would have won the Ballon d'Or.
Yeah, it would have.
It's all about life decisions, mate. Oh my, this, and I agree with you. I still believe Mbappe will win a Ballon d'Or. I do not know the year, but I do not know too if it's at Real Madrid. Hopefully it is. Hopefully it is, and I do believe like it's. And this is a question I want to people comment down below. Your answer for this is like, if Florentino Perez had to choose between Vinicius Jr. and Kylian Mbappe, who would he choose? Who would he choose? I think he would choose Vinicius Jr. He's going to win a Ballon d'Or. He's been at the club since the age of 17. He's a result of the good management of Real Madrid and obviously the branding too. But Mbappe, that's been like a long romantic novel, you know, and it's finally happened. It's released, but it doesn't have that same anticipation like we thought it would be. So interesting enough. But so I'm gonna go bold with this. I agree with you. In the next top 3 at the Ballon d'Or, I think there's gonna be one Real Madrid player there too, which will be Vini or Mbappe. But I think the other 2 players, the Ballon d'Or podium in 2025, I'm expecting to see Vini Jr. again. I'm expecting to see Erling Haaland, and I'm expecting to see Lamine Yamal too, mate. I am getting convinced by what I'm seeing. Rafinha will be in the top 10 too. Rafinha deserves this respect, okay? Because Barca's getting to this level because of Rafinha too. But Lamine, the talent level, that's unmatchable currently in football. It's the crosses, it's the dribbling, it's the decision making, it's the ball retention, it's the uniqueness. Nobody offers what he does. And yes, I believe City will win the Prem or the Champions League again too. The Champions League again too. Like the more I see things going, I believe if Rodri manages to come back before the end of the season, if Kevin De Bruyne manages to come back before the end of the season, I think things will change. And another prediction I have with all this is Man City are going to sign a good replacement for Rodri next January. 100%. Where I think it's rumors of Real Madrid getting someone because they don't usually sign in January. But City, they get their money and deals in action straight away. So Zubimendi, I think, is my prediction to go to City and to be replacing Rodri, meanwhile, until he comes back.
That's a good shout. That's an appealing 6 role to step into as well. If you're a player of that caliber, there's only one place that you want to go, and there's only 2 or 3 players you want to play alongside.
Exactly.
But real quick, I want to touch on the Lamine Yamal shout. We discussed this in the previous unrecorded podcast, but what Lamine Yamal is doing at 17 years old cannot be understated. You, the listener, I'd like you to think about what you were doing or are doing at 17 years. Are you starting for the Barcelona first team? Are you playing with a fluidity and a creativity that is talked about in a world-class manner? Are you taking on defenders that are twice your age and your experience and beating them? Are you creating for your other players or your teammates? Are you scoring on the world's biggest stages? Are you playing at Barcelona at 17 years old?
And the face of Adidas now.
Right. We talk about these labels that we put on him, the best youngster, the best under 21 player in the world, one of the best right wingers in the world. These are not terms that we throw around lightly. These are very, very serious terms that we put on him because he passes the eye test. He has the stats to back it up, and he clearly has the backing of the entire club. And it's a testament to La Masia because, I mean, like you mentioned before, the sheer percentage of players that Barcelona field that have come through the academy is something that we don't see in the rest of the world, period. True. And I just want to give Lamine his flowers. I know we and other media outlets are going to talk about him for years and years to come, but it just seems so important to comment that he's 17 and really, really digest that, really deep that wow, he is a teenager doing this at a spectacular level.
It reminds me a bit of Neymar in that sense because I remember Neymar at Santos having this type of hype. And yes, he did leave Sanchez only at the age of 20 and he came to Europe. But there was a lot of attention and a lot of responsibility. And what I think that's the mad thing too with Lamine. It happened with Cristiano Ronaldo very early. That's the accountability factor. He's like, I play in the best team in the world, Lamine Yamal stated before the game. Now, after the game, he's like, We just confirmed it. We're the best in the world. Nobody can beat us. I want to be the best in the world. And that's what's beautiful about this. Lamine Yamal, when he goes to bed and he's dreaming about that Ballon d'Or, he's dreaming of it with the Barcelona kit. It's the dream of Lamine Yamal to be the best player in the world. Not at City, not at Arsenal, not at Real Madrid. It's at Barca. And that's what makes it beautiful. And it's, for some people, law of attraction. It's the law of attraction. Conor McGregor mentions it a lot. But yeah, Lamine Yamal is a clear statement that La Masia is the best academy in football. But yeah, I said Erling Haaland, top 3 of the Ballon d'Or. He's got 44 goals in 42 games in the Champions League. Do you think he's the new Mr. Champions League ever since Cristiano Ronaldo left?
Oh, yes. But it's an interesting one as Ballon d'Or, because I've always wondered how people define this award. In other sports, they call it the MVP, the most valuable player. And that could mean a lot of different things. It could mean who has the best stats. It could mean who is most important to their team. It could mean who shows up in the big matches. But the Ballon d'Or, to me, has been the best footballer in the world, the best player of the game of football. And to me, not to sell Erling Haaland short whatsoever, but his success comes as a result of the system that he's in and the players that are around him. Individually, he's incredibly gifted, but I don't know if he's technically better at the game of football than someone like Vinicius, than someone like Lamine Yamal, than someone like Kylian Mbappe. He has skills, however, that those guys do not. He has strength and physical abilities that those guys do not. So all of this to say, I'm kind of riding the fence in between this, is to I go back and forth as to how we define Erling Haaland's success, because it looks so much different than the success of, say, a winger or say a controlling midfielder. You know, it's just curious. You know,
I understand, and I'm gonna be devil advocate here a bit, Mitch. Okay, stay with me here. Mbappe came to play at striker with Real Madrid. Erling Haaland, obviously striker, arrives at Man City. If Kylian Mbappe leaves in his first season and they don't win La Liga, they don't win the Champions League, imagine what would have happened if Erling Haaland had done the exact same thing in his first season. And he did the opposite. He did the opposite, Erling Haaland. He broke the record of most goals scored in one season. He wins the Champions League for the first time with Man City. And undoubtedly, he's the best striker in football and a top 3 player. So I understand where you're coming from when you say the ability, the technique, completely. He doesn't have the same technique as Mbappe, as Vini, as Lamine, for sure. Lamine, the most talented of the players mentioned. But what he does have is, in terms of IQ of a striker, positional awareness, and with Guardiola too, like he's becoming a very different player. Obviously, at Dortmund and at Salzburg, it's not he would be handed goals, but he would be in the right place, the obvious pass for the passes to be made. But with Man City now, I'm starting to see like Kevin De Bruyne is not playing. I got to grab the ball and get a goal on my own. That's starting to happen. So I agree with what you said in terms of technical ability, but I believe he can win a Ballon d'Or one day because in the Premier League, the last player to win a Ballon d'Or that was playing in the Premier League was Cristiano Ronaldo. And ever since then, I'd say Eden Hazard was the most dominant player in terms of the best years that he was playing. Haaland is the most dominant. When he's ticking and he's in form, nobody can stop him. Nobody. So what I hope to see this season is if Man City goes to the quarterfinal, to the semifinal, or to the final of the Champions League, man of the match is not Rodri. Man of the match is not Kevin De Bruyne. I want to see man of the match Erling Haaland and saying to the world, I am here and I'm here to be the best. So give me that Ballon d'Or. That arrogance. And look what he said to Arteta.
He's growing in his confidence as well. He's the humble thing. Oh, God, that sent my head for a trip. I'm an Arsenal supporter. But to go further off of kind of what I said and what you said about technical ability, I think Erling Haaland possesses technical abilities that Mbappe and Lamine Yamal do not have. Erling Haaland's strength in the air, Erling Haaland's ability to anticipate where a ball's going to be, Erling Haaland's ability to finish unorthodox ways. Like, these are things that he is better than these other two at. So, again, you can argue one way or another. And one thing that I'll mention, he is not a stagnant player. None of these players are. From when he was signed from Borussia Dortmund to now. It's been several years at City, and he's developed, and he's become a better player under Pep because of this. This is not rocket science, but it's really interesting to see his development as opposed to Mbappe's development and what that's going to be like. It's too early to say what it's going to be like, but he's going to be a different player in 5 years, and it's curious to see what that'll be.
And people can't say Ancelotti's a bad developer, okay? Because Ancelotti develops Kaká, Shevchenko, and now recently Vini Jr., like, he's made a mega difference for a lot of young superstars. Yeah. So, Mbappe, you have to be the next one in line, too. Like,
that's your responsibility.
Exactly. So, yeah, with Ballon d'Or, I just wanted to ask you here at the end, since we're not going to talk Bundesliga. And when we say, Erling Haaland is the best striker in the world, the other name that people throw around is Harry Kane, too. Do you believe Harry Kane will win a trophy?
A trophy, yes. a trophy, yes.
The Ballon d'Or, no.
The Ballon d'Or, no, I do not. No.
Not even with the World Cup win in 2026? Joking. It would be maybe Jude Bellingham with a World Cup win in 2026.
Oh, that's a pipe dream as well. Jude's a fantastic player. I think England are plagued with a curse or something. I'm not sure. For their sake, for conversation's sake, I hope they win a Euros or a World Cup at some point, but I don't know. I just don't see
Harry
it.
So Harry Kane, no trophy. So if he gets a trophy, will it be the Bundesliga? Because honestly, Leverkusen's looking
right now
really good.
Leverkusen, I think they wasted all of their late goal black magic last season. That was unbelievable. It was week in and week out that we would see a 2-2 score line going into the 87th minute, and you just knew what was going to happen. You knew it was going to be 90 plus 4 Victor Boniface, 90 plus 3 Florian Wirtz. It was like clockwork every single week. I see the remnants of that this season, but I don't see the stars aligning for them like it did last season.
As much luck as they had last season.
Yes,
I agree with that statement. I agree. And Bayer Leverkusen, it's a fairy tale that keeps on delivering. I think Xabi Alonso still has a trophy in him with this Leverkusen team. Sure. So let us know down below, what is your podium of the Ballon d'Or in 2025? Let us know in the comment sections, and like this video if you're enjoying. Until now, people. Now, with the Prem, just wanted to touch base. No, with Champions League. I'm sorry. Champions League, just wanted to touch base with some things. Because, yes, it was a very good week for Barca beating Bayern. It was a very good week for Real beating Dortmund. But, yeah, there was other teams. And I would like to highlight Sporting on my end, okay? Sporting are in the top 8 of the Champions League. A Portuguese team coached by Ruben Amorim. And look, what they're doing this season in the league. Sporting has 9 games in the league, 30 goals scored, only 2 goals suffered. The same form is going to be in full action next game with Man City, a team that hasn't suffered. Man City still hasn't suffered a goal in the Champions League, people. I'm going to go bold and say against Sporting, in Estádio José Alvalade in Portugal, Sporting will definitely score a goal, and I think a draw can happen, okay? Since your favorites, but without Rodri, without Kevin De Bruyne, Victor Gyökeres, Giovanni Kinda, but we can see magic happen like we saw with Barca beating Real Madrid. Sporting, make that magic happen. Just wanted to give that heads up to people because Victor Gyökeres, 14 games, 14 goals, 4 assists. If I'm an Arsenal fan, and I know you are, Mitch, you should be hyped about this player. He's the best player possible to go to Arsenal and to go against Erling Haaland and Man City. The Scandinavian rivalry. That can be something that's advertisable. Mega.
I was going to ask, we talk about the best strikers in the world. I was going to ask what your opinions on him. And then guys like Victor Boniface as well. I put them in the same category in terms of up and coming strikers. Maybe not.
I like Boniface. I think Boniface for 60 million, which is his release clause, I love it. I think it's a better deal than many other strikers. Jonathan David also, I think, is a quite slept-on striker. Great season he's having at Lille. Lille beat Real Madrid and Atletico de Madrid this season in the Champions League.
Huge result. Understated.
Like Zergova on the right wing.
If you will, if they were in an old Champions League group. And it was Lee, it was Atletico Madrid, and it was Real Madrid. Everybody would put them out. But now,
Facts.
like the two results back to back, unbelievable.
And Chevalier too, the keeper, one of the best
Yes.
goalkeepers in football, and he's 23. 23. So pay more attention to Lille on that. And yeah, with Sporting, I just wanted to say with Victor Gyökeres, yes, he is one of the best strikers in the world, Mitch. 100%. And I'll never forget this day. Like, Breton was in Portugal here, and we were both seeing Sporting Vizela. And we were like looking at each other saying, it was the first match of Victor Gyökeres, and we were looking at each other saying, no, this is not possible. Like, it's not possible to see a guy and after 10 games, he's going to have an injury, or after 10 games, he's going to, chill out a bit. Yeah. No, he gets even better. And the more important the game is, the better Victor Gyökeres is. He scores against the Ep.5. He scores against Porto. But if he doesn't score, the center backs for sure take notice of him with the physical duels, with the runs they have to go with him. He is such a dominating striker.
Presence. He demands attention.
Exactly. And when I look at Arsenal needs a striker that demands attention of center backs. You see Havertz, you see Saka, you see Trossard, you see Martinelli. They're not goal scorers to be the top goal scorer in the Premier League. They can be the top assisters with Saka, more specific, but goal scorers, leave that to a Gyökeres that would make the difference to make that happen. So that's the biggest thing I'm pointing out. I don't believe Arsenal's going to win the Champions League for sure, and it's because the Thomas Partey replacement was thought very after, okay? I think Douglas Luiz should have gone to Arsenal 2-3 years before. Mikel Merino. Now, I want to see him in form, but Arsenal need a Merino next to a Rice or a Partey with no injuries next to a Rice the full season, and a striker that can compete. Not with an Erling Haaland, okay? Because that would be the ideal. But if you can already compete with a Son, with a Salah, with a Nico Jackson now in terms of goals in the Premier League, that's good enough. So how are you thinking here with Arsenal in the Champions League?
Yeah, I agree. I've had a lot of struggles recently watching Arsenal without Martin Odegaard. It's very clear now in his absence how pivotal he is to our team. He is the creator. Our entire game flows through him. He is our press trigger. He is our captain. He is the one that controls the game for us. And to see our side without him, we definitely see the remnants of how we want to play. And there's been players that have stepped up in his absence. You mentioned Trossard, you mentioned Havertz, but we need him back if we're going to do anything.
100%.
Are we favored to win the Champions League? No, we're not. I think success this season for us looks like a Champions League quarterfinal. I think that's where we kind of, that's kind of our ceiling in terms of talent and ability, especially as I come home from watching Barcelona. Like, that's in no world, even if we are on our day and Barcelona are not, I just don't see us stepping toe to toe with them. So as an Arsenal supporter this season, I have managed expectations. I do think we can compete for the Premier League, though. Very, very plainly, I do think we can compete with the Premier League. City have shown this season, unlike in last season and previous, that they are capable of dropping points, that they are, susceptible on the counter. How many weeks now have they conceded first?
True. I think it's 8 in 7 games.
Yeah,
like
just an unbelievable and kind of strange record for them as well.
True.
They are susceptible.
But Mitch, with the Champions League, as an Arsenal fan, let me ask you here some predictions with these games. Inter against Arsenal, how do you think it'll go?
Is that at home or away?
Away. Inter, Arsenal. What's your prediction, Mitch?
1-1.
Tough one. 1-1?
1-1.
Sporting Arsenal.
2-2.
Respect that. Arsenal Monaco at home.
2-0.
And then an Arsenal Dinamo Zagreb.
Also 2-0.
So you believe Arsenal will get 8 points from these 4 games? I agree with you. I think 8 points is quite realistic. Maybe 7-2. I thought you were going to say Arsenal's going to beat Sporting. If you're coming to Lisbon,
no.
Let me know.
Yes, I knew we were going to Lisbon. That is a hostile environment to go and play. I can expect at least 1 goal from Victor. Yes, that's a high scoring draw in my
I
eyes.
love it. It's the name Victor. It's the celebration, mate. It's everything with this
Oh,
aura, with this
oh.
guy. And this is the best Sporting team I've seen in my life playing wise.
Mm.
I've never seen them as good as they are playing. So yes, let us know down below, people, your thoughts about what we mentioned now with Sporting, with Lille too. Deserving, okay, deserving statements here because they're playing great football. And yeah, go bold in the comment section. And with Prem, you hinted. So you do not believe Man City's gonna win the Premier League, Mitch?
I didn't say that. I said we have a realistic chance of challenging for the Prem. I think currently most would tell you that City are the favorites to go back to back to back to back to back to back to back. But but this year, like I said, unlike in previous years, they look a little more susceptible. To me,
I agree.
Pep's heart isn't in it like it was in previous years. I think he's already got one foot out the door, looking towards retirement or looking towards a different challenge. And I think if we're able to get Odegaard back and then stay relatively healthy for the remainder of the season, I think we have a really good chance.
Going with what you said, Mitch, I think it's a fact. Man City look more fragile than they looked last season. Factual. Sure. But the truth is, they still haven't conceded one goal in the Champions League until now. So to an extent, I understand what you're saying. But Man City is a team that is in constant rebuild always. Always. The team that started with Pep is very different from the team that's now with Pep. And Kevin De Bruyne is the only player that wasn't signed with Pep Guardiola at Man City. So I agree that there's a good chance that Arsenal and Liverpool can capitalize with Rodri being out, with Kevin De Bruyne being not his best self, with Phil Foden still not figuring himself out in October now and getting to November. Like, there's still big question marks. But you have Foden, you have Haaland, you have Rico Lewis, you have Gvardiol, you have Doku, you have Savinho. You have many players with untouched potential. And like we saw with Barca, some people couldn't predict what happened with Barca because it hadn't been seen before. With City, I haven't seen the best maybe of Rico Lewis, of Gvardiol, of Haaland, of Savio, of Doku. It's the unseen potential that I believe is going to happen this season. So,
but in the way that Pep sets up, I don't think he is primed to have his players reach that potential, especially with his creative players, like a Savinho, like a Phil Foden, like a Jack Grealish. We've seen the fall off, if you will, of Jack Grealish.
But Foden's been mega developed by Guardiola.
Sure, he has.
And
but
Rico.
Rico Lewis to me is a good player. He's a good player. I don't know if he is their franchise left back or wherever he chooses to play. The way that they set up to me does not maximize the sex appeal in those players. It doesn't. But they win.
But it's a hard decision. Like what I gotta say on Rico Lewis, it's Rico Lewis is benching Kyle Walker because Rico is better to play at the right way, at the inverted parts. Like this new phenom made by Pep Guardiola, all of a sudden with center backs playing more in the center and being more involved in the build-up with Arsenal now. Putting Ben White at right back last season, getting Calafiori also to play that same role that Gvardiol does. Like, he's such a genius. And I think Rico, like he said, he might not be the best fullback, but he's a top footballer.
Yes.
He doesn't have a specific position. So, to an extent, I agree. But yeah, Trent Alexander-Arnold will be the best right back in the world of football and will be perceived as the best English right back ever. I'm sorry, Gary Neville, okay?
You don't have to apologize.
The more time passes, it's like Trent Alexander-Arnold is conferring himself more and more. At the age of 26, he's involved in more than 100 goals. He's won a Champions League. He's won a Premier League that when he was 17, Liverpool hadn't done it still. And he was key to make that happen. So, as an Arsenal fan, how would you feel if Liverpool and Man City finished ahead of you at the end of the Premier League season?
Not good. Wouldn't be thrilled about it, no.
You'd be like Arteta out, or you'd be like, we need a Victor Gyökeres. We need solutions to this problem.
No, it would take something really, really shambolic to happen for me to be Arteta out. To see the depths that he has pulled this club from in the way that he has done it, to me is the most endearing thing I could see as a coach.
Edu Gaspar.
I mean,
sporting director. if Edu's like, look, I can't work with him. Someone in football in life, I think you get to a point that people need to get the blame. And if if a club doesn't have success, it's the manager's fault, or it's the owner's fault, or it's the sporting director's fault. I think Edu has been doing quite good signings.
Yes.
Arteta, though, there's some substitutions, some moments that I'm like a bit, is this the right moment to do this? Is this the right decision to do this? I have question marks.
I would agree with that. I think last season he was a bit sharper with his substitutions. I think this season we need a bit of a refresh. We look a little stale. Stale in the build-up, stale in the way we create chances. And again, part of that goes back to Odegaard not being on the field. He is the creativity in a lot of those situations, but I think we have become quite predictable in how we want to play, in our corner routines. To me, I mean, I watch them week in and week out, but to me, they look incredibly predictable. I think something needs to change, but I don't know if it's.
Don't worry.
I don't know if it's Arteta or a different.
Makes sense. It makes sense. With Arteta, I do, and that's a fact too. Like the improvement that Arsenal has had over the years is a result of Arteta and the good decisions of the club with that too. But yeah, it gets to a point with me that's, you need to change things up in order to win a Premier League. And the fact is, in the last 4 years, Mikel Arteta has not won the Premier League. He's not won a silverware. An FA Cup he did win in his first season, but he had a very different group with Aubameyang, with Lacazette. And with this group that he built, Arteta, I still haven't seen silverware with it. So the more time passes, the more question marks will come with it. But my last question with Arsenal would be to you is, do you believe Arsenal have the best defense in the world of football?
Yes, I do. Yep. A healthy Arsenal back four is the best.
Calafiori, Gabriel, Saliba, Timber at the right.
Yep.
And obviously Raya. Best goalkeeper too in the world of football, not counting Courtois.
That's an interesting one. I think his ability to play with his feet is second to none. I don't see a goalkeeper in world football that has the distribution and just the ability with his feet that Raya does. And then shot stopping, like you've seen it, that double save in the Champions League. He had an unbelievable reaction save last week. I'd put him up there. I don't know if I'm ready to give him that title, though.
Top three? I'd put him in the top three ranking.
Sure. I'll concede that. Top three in the world.
And nobody talks about Ramsdale anymore. Imagine if Raya hadn't worked out, a lot of people would be like, oh, we had Ramsdale this. Look, we had two birds, now one stone. You know the expression.
And I was Ramsdale. I was a Ramsdale truther. When he was at the club and we had brought in Raya, I was a bit romantic in the sense that Ramsdale has been with us for that really tumultuous season. He's kind of, you can see he plays for the badge every single week with the turnaround and the shithousery and all that. But now it's clearer more than ever that David Raya was the right choice.
Exactly. And you used the word romantic. And ironically, when you said that, I thought, let me ask Mitch about this. It's with Erik ten Hag. What are your thoughts with Erik ten Hag, and how's the media in the States talking about this? Because here in Portugal, they're being ruthless. They're saying that lower tier managers would do a better job than him. So what are your thoughts about Erik ten Hag?
I would tend to agree. Week in and week out, we see mediocrity from Manchester United. This is Manchester United. And it has not been like some ups and downs. It's not been like, oh, well, they won that FA Cup final against.
Well, true. The only loss that Rodri has when he's playing. Kobe Mainoo was masterclass in that game. I'd give it more to Kobe Mainoo than ten Hag.
I would too. The credit in that game relies more on Mainoo. The way that I've spoken to United fans and the way that they approach this is, well, we've had managers in the past that we didn't give the proper runway to, that we didn't give enough time to execute on a project. And my question to them is then well, what is that correct amount of time? Is it 5 years? You're Manchester United. You do not have the luxury of having a 5-year rebuild and redefinition of your club. It just simply doesn't work like that when you're an elite club and you want to call yourself an elite club.
Any Man United fan that gives the excuse of time for Erik ten Hag, look how much time it took for Arne Slot to put Gravenberch playing the way he is. Look how much time it took for Konate, Luis Diaz, Curtis Jones even having a masterclass last game. It was insane. So Erik ten Hag, Tell me one player that's improved with Erik ten Hag and Man United. Kobe Mainoo is inevitable. For me, the talent level that he has, the level that he plays, is inevitable to play one day for Man United in Old Trafford. Come on, people cannot defend this type of decisions, tactics. It's very mediocre, completely, Mitch. Saying mediocrity is the best way to define what is happening to a team as important as Man United. Let us know down below what are your thoughts with Ten Hag. And question of the podcast here, episode 5. We're at the end here in the outro. We always like to give a spotlight moment here for the guest. And we have a question here for you, Mitch, with the U.S. men's national team that it's, will Pochettino succeed as the manager of the U.S. men's national team?
And this is going to be a cheap throwback, but what does success look like for Pochettino?
I'd say going through the group stages in the World Cup in 2026.
Yes.
That's success.
Yes.
You're confident that the U.S. will go through in the group stages?
Yes.
Why
Partially,
is that?
well, a couple things add into this. Partially because I think our talent pool now is better than it ever has been. Mm-hmm. Partially because we are at home. We are playing these games on home soil. The U.S. men's national team's record at home in the past 2 years is much, much better than it is on the road. You saw that in the game against Trinidad. You saw that in a game
Mexico,
against Mexico. We'll be playing in the comfort of our own backyard. And then furthermore, I think Christian Pulisic, I was laughed at last year when I called Christian Pulisic a top 100 player in the world. That's a pretty wide threshold. Right now, would you?
I don't know.
Come on.
No. Right now, yes, he's top 100 with what he's doing at AC Milan. But last season, if I heard that statement, I'd be... I don't say it's crazy, but I definitely don't say I agree with it 100%. But this season, Mitch,
this
no
season,
doubt.
yes.
This season, Pulisic is no doubt one of the best 100 players in the world of football, but definitely one of the best in Serie A.
Oh,
definitely one of the best.
Oh.
So like, I didn't watch yesterday because of Bologna, AC Milan. God knows why they couldn't play. But like Rafael Leão, he's not playing better than Pulisic.
No.
And I love Rafael Leão.
and they complement each other well. That AC Milan team is. You don't think so?
I don't know if they... Well, I do think Paulo Fonseca is managing to play Pulisic in a great way. But I haven't seen the best Theo Hernandez and Rafael Leão still with Paulo Fonseca. So, but going with Pulisic, I like that we're focusing on him. Because, yes, I think Pulisic... There's a real chance that Christian Pulisic, when he retires, he's perceived as the best player ever in the U.S. men's national team. Do you believe that will be the case like me?
Yes, I think he's on that trajectory. I think even, in the next 3 years.
And who would be the number 2? Dempsey?
You could say Dempsey, yep, for his success overseas. You could say Donovan. And then you could throw Tim Howard up there as well as a Mount Rushmore.
Ooh, yes.
As a Mount Rushmore, it's tough to compare keepers and forwards, but those are my top 4.
Well stated, mate. And we're with Pulisic, it's yes, Christian Pulisic is the best player of this team, but like, who would you say would be the 3 players next to him that would be instrumental for this 2026 World Cup difference? Would it be a Gio Reyna? Would it be a Tyler Adams not being injured? Would it be a Weston McKennie with all this experience that he's gotten from the Juventus road? Like, who do you think is the player that's going to lead? Who will be the Robin for Batman Pulisic in the 2026 World Cup?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of things, a lot of decisions that need to be made leading up to this World Cup. I think whoever our striker is going to be needs to be decided within the next 6 months.
Or Balogun?
It's Pepe, it's Ballon, but then we've also seen some fringe players, guys like Haji Wright, guys like Josh Sargent that have gotten time as well. Josh Sargent playing unbelievably in the championship, scoring for fun. Haji Wright doing the same. But to me,
Victor Gyökeres replacement at Coventry.
Right, exactly. You can't replace him though. But for me, Pepe is our striker right now. You see what he's doing at PSV. He had a borderline hat trick yesterday. We're filming this on Sunday. Talking about this PSV game on Saturday.
Yes.
he's playing out of his mind. His
And
finishing
Malik
ability
Tillman.
is second.
Pepe and Malik Tillman
So,
playing for PSV and US men's national team. They
correct.
both should start for both teams.
I agree. And then to talk about another duo that plays at a club level, I want to see Yunus Musa playing alongside Christian Pulisic as well. He is going to be so important to that midfield. To me, if everybody's healthy, our midfield three is Yunus Musa, Tyler Adams, Weston McKennie.
No Giorena?
So it's a curious one, right? I don't know where Pochettino wants to play him and where he feels most comfortable. Whether it's in a 10 role, whether it's out wide.
No, not Giorena. Johnny Cardoso. No Johnny Cardoso? Real Betis?
I haven't seen enough.
He's very underrated, mate.
He really is, sure. He's underrated. I'll give a Luca Del Torre shout as well. I like the way he progresses the ball. One. He's a real fun player to watch. I think there's a lot of guys and a lot of spots in this 11 that are up for grabs. Our back four, we do not have a set-in-stone back four right now. True. In fact, I think the only two players are our outside backs in Jedi Robinson and Serginho Dest.
Scally maybe can come through.
Scally's an excellent choice if we want to play a little more conservatively. Serginho Dest, obviously better going forward. Scally has seen play on both sides. So I think there's a lot of question marks leading up to give you the Robin answer. I would love to see Yunus Musa and Christian Pulisic be the AC Milan Batman and Robin for this team.
I love it. I look really good answer, mate, because yes, it makes sense with the center backs now that I think about the U.S. men's national team with it. The only one I really like what I've seen him play 3-5 games here in Portugal, Joshua Vinder. Joshua Vinder, he's quite a talented center back here at Benfica that came from the US. So people pay attention to him. I think he can be an option in the future. But very well pointed out. Very well pointed out. Can we see Kevin Sullivan in the 2026 World Cup, Mitch?
I think
it's a learning experience.
It is so that's I think the value is having him on the 26-man roster. I think that has a ton of value because
we're best at home.
Right, and at home, there's no replacing that. And if he is going to continue on the trajectory that he's on, he's going to be a very important American player for a long time to come. So getting that experience in a camp like that at home early in your career, I think is really, really valuable. Does he see 15 minutes in a group stage game? Maybe. I'm not going to say right now that he should be on the roster, but I really like the value that would give to him as a player.
In 2026, there's a chance we could see in the 2026 World Cup, Jude Bellingham and Joe Bellingham playing for England. Job has to go to strides that he still hasn't.
Yes.
Better than Sunderland, but he's playing quite well. And we could see Quincy Sullivan and Kevin Sullivan for the U.S. Okay, there's a real chance. And also, Quinton Timber and Julian Timber for the Netherlands. That's another duo of brothers. So that's quite mad. The real bromance is very real in football. It's not like, but like in basketball in the States, LeBron played with Bronny, right? Something like that happened. Oh, man.
I don't know. I don't know if we're ever going to see anything like that in football.
If we do, who is it going to be with?
That's
Cristiano
interesting.
Ronaldo.
You think?
I don't. And this is something, Cristianinho, if you're watching, I've been told that he's a good footballer, but he's not the most talented in his age group, okay? Sure. And if you're an admirer of Portuguese young ballers, pay attention. And this is a name that if you speak to people that watch Portuguese football, some of them do not know about him. Near close. Francisco Wang. He's got Korean ties in him. Under 17 winger. He's a number 10 for Benfica under 17. Mate, one of the best talents I've ever seen in Portuguese football. And academy football. Nice. Academy football. It's like, oh my days. What is this guy? Left wing, right wing, 10. He's everywhere. Francisco Wang. So it's a pay attention to that name type moment. And Estevão, also a Brasileirão, wanted to say in here in the outro of the FC Wonderkid podcast, William Estevão, that is going to Chelsea next season. He's the best player in the Brasileirão with Palmeiras. 25 games, 11 goals, 8 assists at the age of 17. The best three right wingers that are 17 years old in the world of football, it's Lamine Yamal, number 1, William Estevão, 100% number 2. And number 3 is a player that's not playing at right wing, but right wing back at Sporting, Giovanni Kenda, that this weekend he scored his first goal for Sporting, and he became the youngest goal scorer of Sporting in their history, surpassing Simão Sabrosa, which is a quite popular name here, Simão, that went to Benfica. But yeah, any last thoughts with the U.S. men's national team? A player that we have to watch? You said De La Torre. Great shouts. Is there another player that we got to know?
I like what I've seen from Marlon Fossey at right back in Serginho Dest's absence as well. He has been really creative going forward, really willing. Who else? Brennan Aronson. I think
Pochettino, will he play with 3 midfielders? You said 4-3-3. Will he play with 4-3-3 with the U.S. men's national team?
That's kind of how we've set up in the past, but I wouldn't be surprised if he changed that up. I think he has enough time to change the way this team plays and the identity. We've already seen it in the few friendlies that he's played, but I anticipate a 4-3-3 until proving otherwise.
Got you. Understand with that. Thank you so much, Mitch, for episode 5 here with you. Overtime FC, mate. People, everyone that's listening until now, go follow Overtime, one of the best pages on social media to follow for football. Any facts about football, anything that's fun in football, Overtime covers it. What a page. So thank you so much, Mitch, for accepting our invite here at FC Wonderkid. And thank you, people, for going bold with us and for listening to episode 5.
Thanks for having me, man. This is awesome.